I had made a goal for myself that I wanted to feel better. That was like the simplest goal for me. I was just like, I'm gonna start by just telling myself I want to feel better. And then after that, I took like a baby step further and it was like I need to choose better foods. So it was like I took little bit baby steps and then finally I got to a point where I was like, I really can't do this on my own. Like I have looked up all these things on Instagram and like nutrition websites, and there's so much information. And I was kind of overloaded that I was like, man, I just think I just need someone to guide me.
Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go. On today's episode, I sit down with Mita Swan, a young professional in the world of ministry for the last 7 years. She is a wife, now a returning student, who loves to be active, or I dare say, an athlete. Mita is also a graduate of The Sustainable Way, my nutrition coaching program, which she credits to changing her life. Her words, not mine. Mita is a gem of a human with so many words of encouragement and nuggets of wisdom, clearly fueled by her heart for Jesus. She is a client turned dear friend of mine, and I hope you will listen to the end so you do not miss a thing. If you want to experience the same freedom with food and life-changing elevation of health as Mita, you can get started by visiting coachrain.com/dietfree to schedule a 1-hour coaching call with me. Let's get the ball rolling on your journey and start solving the puzzle of what consistency with healthy eating looks like in your own life. Again, that's coachrain.com/dietfree. Without further ado, welcome to the show. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of what I know is a very busy schedule to come hang out with me on nutrition for Christian women.
Yeah, of course. I'm so honored to be here, especially just because of our friendship and you being my coach for so many years. It just feels like such an honor to be on your podcast and just be able to like chat with you.
It's been such a joy to coach you, and I just know your story will resonate with someone listening. So I'm really excited
I
to
hope
dive in.
so.
Thank you for being here. I want to start by just asking you to share, where were you with food and your fitness journey before you joined the Sustainable Way, the nutrition coaching?
hmm Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it because when I think about how I was fueling my body before starting nutrition coaching with you, I kind of like cringe to myself. Not that it was like horrible, it's just that my life has improved drastically since then. And this isn't like I feel like I'm biased because we're friends and I love you, but I'm really not biased. Like this is like, well, there is a slight bias, but the amount my life has changed since starting nutrition coaching with you is like incredible. So, just to give you a picture, my nutrition before was let me just kind of buy what sounds kind of good at the grocery store, come home, not eat anything I bought, and then DoorDash and Uber Eat something. Um, I like it's like I left college and then I just kept continuing how I ate in college, which was a lot of like, let's go get fast food really quickly and it'll be fun. Like, I don't want to cook food type lifestyle. And I definitely saw that in my body and how it changed. And I think it was hard too because I grew up as an athlete. And so, when you're younger, your metabolism is so high. And when you're working out so much, you can eat like a crap ton of food and you don't even think about how your body looks because you're just burning so many calories. And I think I just kept thinking that that's how my body was going to be for the rest of my life, which is so unrealistic. So I still ate kind of the same way. I would eat like everything that was in front of me. And it was kind of incredible that I had the ability to. But I just like kept continuing how I ate before, but my fitness was nowhere near as it was when I was an athlete when I was younger. So I started noticing bodily changes. But yeah, that was my nutrition before you. It was like, let's just see how we feel. And like, ooh, I'm feeling canes today.
Yes, I totally know. Just no actual thought about it, just whatever sounds good in the
No.
moment.
Yeah.
I've been there myself. That's definitely where I started. So then what were your goals physically, how you're feeling, mentally, all that stuff?
Yeah. So just to give you a background, I had torn my ACL like I think 10 years ago now, and I hadn't gotten surgery for it. I left, I had a torn ACL for years, and I finally decided to get surgery for it. And if you've ever gone through ACL reconstruction surgery, it is the most brutal recovery. You're just on your butt all day long. And, I had the sweetest church family who started a meal train for me and brought me meals because I couldn't get up and cook. So I was so blessed by that. But there wasn't much movement. It was hard for the first couple weeks. And even after that, as you're trying to regain muscle back in your leg, you just aren't really moving that much. And so I started gaining weight. My body just looked really different. I felt way less motivated to work out because I hadn't done it for so long. I was so discouraged with my knee. And I just needed something. I remember hitting a point and feeling so badly about myself that I was like, the only person that can make a change is myself. So you got to get up. You got to get up and just do something. So that started with like 1 mile runs. And that was a lot for me, like being on my knee and then also just like having not worked out. Like 1 mile runs were awful. And when I think about it now, I'm like, wow, I really have gone, I've gone so far, grown so far now, having done like half marathons and like high rocks. Kind of incredible seeing, where I started. But I had made a goal for myself that I wanted to feel better. That was like the simplest goal for me. I was just like, I'm going to start by just telling myself I want to feel better. And then after that, I took like a baby step further and it was like I need to choose better foods. So it was like I took little bit baby steps and then finally I got to a point where I was like, I really can't do this on my own. Like I have looked up all these things on Instagram and like nutrition websites, and there's so much information. And I was kind of overloaded that I was like, man, I just think I just need someone to guide me. And that's when like I heard about your nutrition coaching, like we got closer as friends, and I was like, okay, this is it for me, I think, especially because, I'm a Christian, you're a Christian. It just felt like such a good mix of being able to talk about how we can nourish our bodies, but also do it in a way that's honoring to God, which is like something that I'd never thought about before in my life. And it brings so much of a better intentionality to your eating when you think about it that way.
Dang, I did not know about the ACL injury, and I knew that you had had some sort of injury and were in a place where you had pretty much recovered when we
Yeah.
first met, but I didn't know the extent of that. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, it was harsh. I won't blame just the ACL surgery. Like a lot of that was on me too. Like I could have been a little bit more active while I was recovering, but I just lost so much motivation in that time. So I know that like I've seen some videos of like athletes who've torn their ACL and they're like back up and running so quickly. And I'm like, my whole recovery journey was not like that at all. I felt like I was so lazy. It was just not the same.
but I applaud you because like you said, now you're kind of a distance runner, like you've
I
done a lot of
know.
long distance running and you're a CrossFit
Yeah.
athlete now.
Yeah.
So you did get out of the trenches, and I love how you were thinking not just I want to look a certain way, but I want to feel a certain way. And if that is my end goal, what do I need to do? What steps do I need to take to get there?
Yeah.
And, starting with a mile run and then realizing, oh, maybe if I change the way I eat, that could also push the needle forward. And so I just love that mentality. I think that's a really wholesome way to approach it. And the satisfaction that you get at the end is so much greater than constantly chasing a physique, which is
Totally.
important too. You got to like how you look, but if that's the main focus, you'll always be discouraged. If that's the happy side effect of wanting to feel well, then you'll always be pleased, basically.
Totally. Yeah, it reminds me of a conversation I had with someone at the gym who had lost like a crazy amount of weight in a matter of, I think, like 6 months. I forget if it was like 60 or 100 pounds. It was crazy amount of weight. And she told me that if your motivation is to lose weight, it's never going to work for you and it's going to be difficult to lose weight that way because losing weight in that whole journey is like such a roller coaster. Like there are going to be extreme highs and extreme lows. And if you're using that as your motivation, it's never going to be consistent. And, I'm not an expert on that and I won't say I am, but I was like, man, like that's actually really good advice. It's so good to be intentional about setting a goal that you can keep looking at so it can keep you on a consistent plane. Whereas, like, weight loss is just a hard thing. And there are days you just feel really bad and days you feel really good. And the days that you feel really bad, it's hard to do anything. It's hard to get up and feel
Hmm.
like, okay, like, I'm gonna go work out, I guess. Like, oh,
What's the
so
point?
yeah. So that person at the gym who told me that was like, you got to pick something that's like really specific, like be intentional with it. If that's like, hey, I want to get crazy with squats, like back squats and front squats, and I want to squat seriously heavy, make that your goal and like keep working towards that. And somewhere along the way, you will lose that weight.
Hmm.
So,
100%. Yes, I learned that the hard way myself, especially as women and just the fluctuation of our hormones. It is
oh
so
my gosh,
cyclical,
yeah.
and every day is a different amount, different variables of different hormones, and it just fluctuates so much. So it can be really discouraging if that is the goal. So I love that mentality that you had going into it. You touched on this a little bit, but I want to dig a little bit deeper. What was it about the sustainable way that made you say yes? Because you weren't inherently, super unhealthy before. You kind of knew what you were doing. You were an athlete. I don't think you were just noshing on Pringles all day. Maybe you were and you just weren't telling me, but what was it about that that was different enough to you that made you really sure like this is for me?
Honestly, like I think it was a lot of you. I'm gonna hype you up for a second.
Words of
But
affirmation are
I,
my love language. Keep going.
I know, this is your time. Um, I loved the way that you coached. I love that you said from the very beginning, I'm going to lay this all out. I'm going to give you the information, and it is up to you to figure out how it's going to work for you and what you is realistic for your life. And I felt like there was so much freedom in that and also accountability because you weren't like telling me every day needs to look like this. You were like, I'm just going to give you all the research, everything that I've learned. You take it and like go. And I think that little bit of freedom was like forced me and gave me accountability to make sure I was doing the things that you suggested and the things that you talked about. But I think on the other side of that, the sustainable way was something that was like at the core, it's literally looking at ingredients for things and realizing, let's start here, like looking at the back of packaging. Because when I went to you, I had such a problem with snacking. It was like
I
I won't say it's a
remember.
problem. I just like, well, it was like for my life personally. You know, people can snack all they want. I love snacks. I will never tell anyone to stay away from snacks. But personally, during the time, it was a problem for me. And I remember you just telling me to look at the back of the box, look at all the ingredients, and be intentional about each one. I know I keep using the word intentional, but that is the entirety of your coaching when it comes to nutrition is like being intentional. So you told me to look at the ingredients, understand each one. And once I realized like how much crap I was putting into my body with those snacks, somewhere along the way, I was like, you know what? This isn't really worth it anymore. And then, like, you just talking about simple whole foods, like giving a list of vegetables, giving a list of starches, like that, and telling us, like, how those things help your body and nourish your body and keep you going. I was like, it's that simple. I can just pick from a list of vegetables and a list of this and that. And it's like, I make an amazing meal. And I know for a fact that this is going to keep me going in sports, you know, in life and when I'm at work. Yeah, it was the simplicity of it, I think, because when you go on Instagram and you look at nutrition and like how to be, sometimes it can get so big and massive and it feels like you have to do all these things and put together all these practices in your day, but that's not realistic for anyone to have to like come up with 10 habits that they have to do every single day. So, yeah, I think I love the simplicity of
Mhm.
the sustainable way.
Oh man, you scratched my back so hard there. But I love hearing all of that because it's exactly, you got out of it exactly what the design was. It's
Yeah.
never going to be sustainable if it's not simple. It has to just slot right into your life, and it cannot
True.
be the focus and the all-consuming thing of your everyday life, or it will never last, or you'll drive yourself mad. And having been on both sides of those, it's just so much easier when we do it simply, which is totally the way God designed it. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
duh, like I should know this, but for whatever reason, the world tells us we have to track our macros and we have to count and weigh everything. And you can only have 3 cashews because that's as much fat as you get for this allotment of your day. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. So I love that you found the simplicity in that. Oh, that just makes my heart so happy. Knowing all of that, I mean, you started with this. How has the coaching program in general had an impact on your life?
So I can't even describe, or like, I don't even know where to begin with how much it's changed my life. When I first started, I was so fired up. I was like, yes, I'm writing notes. Like, this is like, I know everything. Chelsea's like, I can do it. I went to the grocery store. I was looking at like the ingredients in every single box I was picking up if I were to picking up snacks. But I was just so pumped. I was so ready to like change my meals, especially because before, like I said, I was just like, let's get DoorDash tonight, which I still love doing. So I feel like I have to keep prefacing. There's nothing wrong with that.
There is a time and
Um,
place, and there's a way to do it
exactly.
well.
I know, exactly. I love door dashing. Um, but it reframed my whole life when it came to food and then just got me super excited about eating. I think
Mm.
right before I started coaching with you, I was eating like the same meal prep every single day. Taco Bowl. I still love that Taco Bell now, but I make variations now, but before I was eating lunch, dinner, Taco Bowl, lunch, dinner the next day, Taco Bowl. It was like the same thing.
I
Um
totally remember that. I remember seeing that on your
yeah.
food log, and I remember you DMing me and saying, "Can we do something other than this? But I don't know what else works. I feel like everything else doesn't make me feel good, but I'm so sick of this."
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, and the other thing too, before I came to you with coaching, I like, and still to this day, I struggle, but not nearly as bad. I had such bad issues with my digestion. Like I was
Mhm.
constantly bloated. I felt so bad. I never felt that in my life, but for the last like 4 years, I've been dealing with just a lot of bloating and certain foods making my stomach hurt. But when I started coaching with you, I started eating like different meals and putting like more protein and more vegetables and greens into my meals. And I was like, wait, all those things kind of just went away.
Huh.
Wait, hold on. Eating taco bowls every day isn't good for you?
Weird.
Adding greens to your diet helps.
Interesting. I feel like there's something in Genesis about that, but that's another conversation for another time.
So great. Um, but yeah, I got really excited about food. I started, cooking a lot of different meals, and I woke up every day with a lot more energy. I remember one of the things you talked about with me was like, intermittent fasting, and I know like I've seen so many things and I've heard so many things on different podcasts about intermittent fasting and how it works for some people, doesn't work for others. But in that season for me, like that was super helpful. I woke up every day, I had so much more energy when I just intermittent fasted, and then I was way more intentional about what I put in my body. I felt like I wasn't getting that 2 p.m. crash in the day. Like I had energy throughout my days. After work, I had energy to like keep working out. There was like a season of 6 months where I was like, man, I'm crushing it. And it was like when I committed to like three half marathons in 1 year. And I really needed to focus on my nutrition during that year. So it was like amazing that I started coaching with you because it got me through. I was like, man, I actually feel fueled for these races. It just drastically changed how I performed as an athlete as well. Like not only in my
Mm.
personal life, but as an athlete. And I think, even in the first few months I started nutrition coaching with you, I realized how much food really does affect your body
Yeah.
and how it performs because I saw it. I was hitting PRs, I think, like the first few months. I think I remember telling you that after I started nutrition coaching, like all my lifts, like Olympic lifts, I was hitting PRs. And I was like, where is this coming from?
I remember that too. I remember there was one specific day I remember coaching. I think it was a snatch day. And you had kind of always like stayed in this limit of
Yeah.
weight. We were a little bit into nutrition coaching and it just looked so dang easy. And I remember telling you, okay, let's take the rest of these intervals or whatever it was and just add 5 pounds every time. Let's go to failure because now we need to know where that upper threshold is. And you packed on like 25 more pounds onto your snatch that day. I was like, which, if you know Mita, that's like a quarter of her body weight. So it's like insane amount of progress in the gym, which was a main goal of yours. You wanted to be the athlete that you
Yeah.
used to be just in this new chapter. So it's just so cool to watch that unfold.
Yeah. Seriously. I totally forgot that was like you remembering it for me. Like that was another goal that I had when I started nutrition coaching. I was like, I want to be stronger. I feel like I had like plateaued in performance as like, in any sports. And I was kind of just like, meh, like didn't really feel very good. And I wanted to get stronger. And I remember like gaining a little bit of weight, but it was like, I was like, wait, that's muscle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good
That's so
times.
cool.
Hmm.
I also love that because part of the design of the nutrition program is, like you said before, here are all these nuggets that will help you. Take the ones that work for you right now. I want to give you templates so that you can plug and play to your specific preferences. If you don't like eggplant, then don't eat eggplant for your vegetables, but
Yeah.
here's 100 other vegetables you can have, right? All of these systems. And part of that is intermittent fasting. And I want to educate you on it so that we can, in the name of science, try it, see if it works for you. Because for some people, it works really well. For some people, it's not so great. And that does depend on the season and just where you're at in life. If you're pregnant, probably shouldn't be fasting, right? But biblically speaking, there is a time and place for it. And especially if we put the faith approach in. So I love that, one of those elements that, because I'm picturing someone listening to this and like, oh, she's a fasting girl. Well, not necessarily, but it is a tool in the toolbox that could work really well for you. And so how cool is it to have the guidance of someone who's done it before to show you exactly how to do it, not some rando on Instagram or the internet saying, well, this worked for me, but they have no idea where you are in your journey, where you are in your hormonal health and your cycle and your goals, and they just tell you, don't eat for 16 hours of the day. That's not the best approach. But the way we did it, I love that it worked so well for you. And like overnight, you became this superwoman, throwing up some big girl weight in the gym. And it was just so fun to watch. So I'm really glad that you touched on that because I think that can be really powerful. What works for some people doesn't work for everyone, but that's why you need a coach. That's why you need someone in your corner to just analyze all of those variables. You know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, I always think like try everything once. Like that
Yeah.
was how I felt. That's what I felt about intermittent fasting when you told me. I was like, man, that kind of sucks. I don't want to have to fast in the morning. But, as a Christian, I'm like, this is a good biblical practice for me, and I can take that time to do something else, like, whether that's reading my Bible or like doing a devotion or worshiping something. But
Mhm.
I remember telling myself, you just have to try this once and see how it feels. And I was like, just get through a week. Let's just do that. Even if I can't get through a week and I can't think about that, I'm like, let's just get through today. And after a week, I was like, oh, okay, this actually works really well for my body and my energy and kind of like what times in the day I really need to be working out or like eating or whatever. So it gave me a good frame and like foundation of, okay, in the morning, I know from this hour to this hour, I am not going to be eating. But then right after that, I'm going to feel the most energized. So like I'm going to work out.
I remember you having some resistance to the intermittent fasting. And of course, you can, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of fasting. That's not what this is about, but you can fast from any, any interval throughout the day. I just find it easiest to do it right away in the morning because you've already fasted for the 8 hours that you've been sleeping. And
Yeah.
so it's just easier to keep it going at that point. And you're like, but Chelsea, I'm like a breakfast girl. Like, I love breakfast. I love breakfast food. I like going to brunch. But I'm so glad that you committed to the process and you tried it for a week because, and this is a part of the biblical nutrition that I am just so fascinated by. We know that throughout scripture, the Lord has numbers that mean very specific things.
hmm
And the number seven usually is coupled with completion, 7 days for creation. What's the other one I think? Oh, forgiveness 77 times or seven times seven. That number is all over the place. What I have found in both personal experience and in coaching is that at the 7 day mark, whenever we try something nutritionally, it's at that 7 day mark that transformation happens. Whether it's cutting sugar for 7 days, all of a sudden on that day seven, it's like it's not even a craving anymore. Or with the intermittent fasting, 7 days of practicing it, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, the energy that everyone's talking about, I actually experience it now. It's crazy. So I'm so glad that you did that and you got to experience that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think also it's a mindset shift. Like, even as a Christian, like knowing that 7 days, like on the seventh day, God rested. Like, I think about that in my week. I'm like, Sundays, even though I work on Sundays because I work in ministry, after that is like, I'm resting. Like,
Mhm.
that's my Sabbath. And when it comes to intermittent fasting or creating habit, even just telling yourself, like, I'm going to do this for 7 days, and I'm going to hope at the end of 7 days that I'm going to feel a little bit different. Like, even just having that mindset shift helps you, like, make things happen. Like, if I'm like, hey, I want to run 10 miles this week and I want it done in 7 days. Like you're gonna make that happen, right? Like at least that's how my mind works. Giving myself little goals like that in
Yeah.
hopes that my mindset will shift. I want to get 10 miles in 7 days and I want to do it again the next 7 days. And making those tiny goals eventually will help me run more miles.
Amen. I love that. It's all about the little goals. The little things
Yeah.
add up. What advice would you give someone who is listening, who can maybe relate to where you were before, wanting to be the athlete that you used to be, or at least a better one for this chapter of life, wanting to be healthier and just feel good, but perhaps is on the fence about really pursuing coaching on a personal level?
Hmm. I think honestly, no matter where you are in life, whether that's high school, you're whatever. I don't know if you've ever coached a high schooler, but you
Yeah.
have? Oh, okay, then yeah, whether you're in high school or you're an adult, our lives are busy. There's a lot going on. As an adult, for me, I go to the gym, I have work, and sometimes I have events after work hours, social life, other hobbies. There's just so many things that you have going on. And when you're kind of in a rut and you're stuck and you feel like, man, like I want to feel better. I want, my nutrition kind of sucks. Like, or like, I don't really know if I'm doing enough with my nutrition. And you're like, I just don't know where to start. Like for me, I was like so lost in the weeds. I was lost on Instagram. I was lost on websites, podcasts, and like all of that had really good information, but I just didn't know where to start. And in the midst of such a busy life, like you don't really have that time to keep researching and trying to find the answers or even just trying all different kinds of methods and
Mhm.
things. As much as I wanted to do that, I did not have the patience to come home and try all the different things I've heard on Instagram. And I think, one of the beauties of coaching, like in having someone coach you in your nutrition, is that they have the answers and they meet with you and they tell you and give you all the information. And that's it. I had a lot of questions when I met with you about this food and like this and like, is this meal that I eat for breakfast good? Is, these snacks that I'm eating throughout the day good for me? Like, it's just nice to have someone guide your thoughts. And when you have so many thoughts throughout your day, it's tiring to have to think about that when you're like sitting down, you're like, I'm hungry and I gotta make a meal.
Oh my gosh, so true. And to be clear, I started my whole journey with a coach. I didn't just, I haven't just always eaten a lot of vegetables and
Hmm.
proteins and known all about this. I had my own journey too, and I started with a coach. It's funny because it was right after college and I had no money, like no money. I had to donate
Classic.
plasma every week to pay rent. Like we're talking no money. And I was working three jobs. But I was also in this dark, almost depressive, I call it what it is, a depressive state. And I realized the only thing I could control when life was out of control is how well I could take care of my body.
Hmm.
And I remember talking to my mom and saying, I had this free trial at a gym and I met with a trainer and he was going to give me a discount, but I can't afford it. And she said, Chelsea, if this is the thing that's going to get you unstuck from where you are, the money will come back. The investment is so worth it. And I'm
Yeah.
so, so glad that I did that because that time with that trainer changed my life and it got me out of that rut and it gave me confidence and it built that momentum for everything else in life. And just having coached you, I feel like a lot of parallels are there and just watching you gain confidence in the gym, in your professional life. You're a married woman now. It's just been a fun evolution to watch and having that person on your team to just, I don't want to say tell you what to think, but to give you a blueprint so you don't have to put so much brain power into the thing that will serve you is just so powerful. That was a long tangent, but I'm just really grateful that you did decide to embark on the journey because it's been so fun to have a front row seat on that transformation. And look at you now, man, a high rocks athlete, running marathons, all of this stuff. You're killing it.
That's so nice. And it's all because of you. You did everything for me.
The Lord, it's the Lord at work. He knows what he's
He is.
doing.
He's so good. I when you were talking, I was thinking about like dials in life and like how, there's a dial for work, there's a dial for fitness, there's a dial for nutrition. And when I think about you as a nutrition coach, that nutrition dial in my life was like turned way down. And I had no idea how to like really get it back and really get it going. And like having you in my life really like allowed me to dial that part of my life. And I think that's what we're meant to do throughout our entire lives. We're meant to just keep working towards that dial and kind of either getting better here, getting better there. And there are people for every single situation that you can lean into to help you dial that in. So, and that for me, it was like you.
I love
Oh my
this. Keep
goodness.
going.
That was
I
you
hear
for
what you're
me.
saying. I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying. We have all been blessed with gifts, and it's our job
Yeah.
to share our gifts. And I really feel like my personal testimony and journey with nutrition is so that I can help people like you who maybe that's not your gift, but it's still a part of your life. And so let's polish that part of your life so you can focus on your gift.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
so cool. I love this. I have one more question for you that I ask all of my guests on
Yeah.
the podcast. What is your favorite form of potato?
I actually had this argument with Justin. Okay, it was an argument, but I feel very strongly about shoestring fries.
Oh,
I freaking love shoestring fries. That is my favorite form of potato. But I know that some people would cringe at that answer or hate it. And I know that because I've seen people's reactions because they're like, there's not much potato in it. But I just love how skinny and tiny they are. Like they're just so satisfying to eat. I just love shoestring fries. But
it's a
I feel like
texture
that's like an
thing.
un I yeah, I think it is, honestly. I love crunchy. I love crunchy things. Most of the snacks I pick up are crunchies. So I think that's my
There we
favorite
go.
form of potato. Fries, but like specifically shoestring.
I love it. You're the first person to answer with shoestring fries, so this is great. That's why I was curious, because we've never
Oh
had this
my God.
conversation, so I needed to know.
I I am so glad I got to answer that for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Mita, I am just so glad that we had this opportunity to chat, and thank you for just being honest and sharing your story. So I know that you keep your socials pretty private and you keep your circle really close, which I totally respect and frankly kind of envy. But if someone listening to this episode has questions for you specifically on your journey, is it okay if they contact me and then I can send them to you directly?
Yeah, definitely. That would be awesome.
Perfect. Awesome. Hopefully I can have you on again sometime. This was a great little chat-see.
Yeah, that was so fun. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be on Chelsea Constantino's podcast.
You're the best. I love you, sis.
Love you.
I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the Weekly Harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the Weekly Harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.